Yes, Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Let's start with the seven realities. Ashok ji, you want to start?
Yeah, okay.
Please.
Uh, Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. The seven realities: existence, love, sacrifice, renunciation, knowledge, control, and surrender. I give no importance to creed, dogma, caste, or the performance of religious ceremonies and rites, but to the understanding of the following. 1. The only real existence is that of the one and only God, who is the self in every finite self. 2. The only real love is the love for this infinity God, which arouses an intense longing to see, know, and become one with its truth, God. 3. The only real sacrifice is that in which, in pursuance of this love, all things, body, mind, possession, welfare, even life itself, are sacrificed. 4. The only real renunciation is that which abandons even the midst, even in the midst of worldly duties, all selfish thoughts and desires. 5. The only real knowledge is the knowledge that God is the inner dweller in good people and in so called bad, in saint and in so called sinner. This knowledge requires you to help all equally as circumstances demand, without expectation of reward, when compelled to take part in a dispute, to act without the slightest trace of enmity or hatred, to try to make others happy with brotherly or sisterly feeling for each one, and to harm no one in thought, word, or deed, not even those who harm you. The only real control is the discipline of the senses to abstain from indulgence in low desires, which alone ensures absolute purity of character. 7. The only real surrender is that in which poise is undisturbed by any adverse circumstances, and the individual under amidst every kind of hardship is resigned to perfect calm to the will of God. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Over to you,
Avatar Meher
Karthik.
Baba
Thanks.
Ki Jai. Thank you very much. Welcome to session number 62. So we are well over a year of Bal Natu, and have we been loving it? There's been a very nice glimpse into uh, the life and times of Baba. We are at Dehradun, and we missed going to Kashmir. If you remember last week, when Namita ji was reading, and now we continue to be in Dehradun. But if you recollect that there might still be a connection to Kashmir from a timing perspective, that's where we are continuing. So we are on page 47, volume 4. Um, any volunteers who want to start reading first?
Yes, I'll do.
Please, Avtar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Over to you, Maharaj.
Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. The irony of Sat. In the second week of April, Baba left for Missouri.
Sorry, yeah.
One day he told Erich that he wanted the sannyasi to visit him after 2 months rather than one. So Erich went to Dehradun and on inquiry learned that this person had gone to Delhi. Erich obtained his phone number and called him long distance to inform him of a change in the date of his meeting with Baba. The sannyasi was delighted with the change, and his immediate response was, "How compassionate is Baba! He is really the all knowing one." Erich asked what he meant by this. The sannyasi explained, "During my recent visit to Delhi, unexpectedly I suffered a severe heart attack. I was rushed to the hospital, and the doctors advised me to stay in bed for a few weeks. These past days I had been very much worried about my impending visit to Baba on the date fixed by him. After hearing Baba's recent message, I heaved a sigh of relief, and now there is no more mental tension with regard to the master's order. On the appointed day, as devised by Baba, the sannyasi arrived at the Mandli's residence in Missouri and met Baba. Baba's first question to the visitor was, "Have you come alone?" "Well, Baba, when I was sick, a young woman looked after my needs and nursed me very well. I thought that the best way to repay her service would be to bring her for your holy darshan," he replied.
I didn't
You
do
did
that,
not.
but I saw it. It just kind of went crazy zoom, right? Sorry about that. I didn't do it, but yeah, sorry.
He replied, "You mean you did not come alone as instructed by me?" Baba gestured. Baba, however, asked the sannyasi to call in the woman. As she paid her respects to Baba, he conveyed his appreciation of her services to the sannyasi. He also blessed her by giving her a rose petal as his prasad. She was then asked to wait outside Baba's room. Baba continued his conversation with the sannyasi. "Did you read the books dictated by me and those that are written about me?" "Sorry, Baba, I could not complete reading a single book by or about you because I was sick and ailing," was the rueful reply. "What about not touching any woman? Did you follow my injunction?" Baba inquired. "Well, I was resting in bed and was not allowed to exert myself. So the woman now sitting outside nursed me, and I could not help touching her." Baba summarized as he folded three fingers, one after another. "You did not come alone. You did not read the books I asked you to, and you could not keep yourself from touching a woman for just 2 months. That is why I told you in the beginning it is easier to sit naked on a snowbound peak of the Himalayas than to stay near me and obey me." However, with a look of compassion, Baba continued, "I forgive you for your failures in obeying my orders. Forget what has happened in the past. I give you one more chance. This time, no more reading of any special books or books, no restriction about touching any woman. Just one thing. Come and see me exactly after 1 month, but come alone." The sannyasi replied, "Yes, Baba." With Baba's signal, he left the room, although he looked crestfallen. Another month passed by, and exactly on time, the sannyasi appeared at the Mandli's residence. Coincidentally, Baba was there and motioned him to sit down. Baba gestured. "In obedience to my instruction, you came on the appointed date. That's good. But have you come alone?" The man hesitated. Finally, he said, "Baba, I have come here with the same woman who nursed me during my stay in the hospital. She has become my spiritual mate." Baba looked amused by the phrase spiritual mate. The man continued, "Please allow her to live with your woman disciples and will stay with the men. Thus, both of us will lead a dedicated life at your holy feet." This request did not seem to please Baba. He signaled to Erich to repeat his earlier statement about obedience being more difficult than sitting naked on a Himalayan peak. At the close of this brief interview, Baba concluded, "I gave you two chances and twice you failed. With me, there is room only for one. It is better that you go your own way and please yourself." The visitor, as he left the room, had no idea of the magnitude of the precious and sacred chance he had lost. an opportunity that comes only after many lifetimes. And what an irony it is that in his quest for truth, the sannyasi preferred to stay with his spiritual mate than with the true personified master, truth personified master, Meher Baba. This sannyasi, which is the sannyasi, we are not sure of that, no?
No, there's no name mentioned, but this
Okay.
is not Shivananda. This is somebody else. The last
Yep.
one with just the name reference was then matched up by Kama to with the dates and everything, and it was Shivananda. This is somebody else.
Yes,
In
yes.
the last section, there was the the section itself was called about surrender and obedience, where this reference to being naked in the cold was mentioned as an example, and that continues.
Yes, because last
Baba,
time we had this discussion and I had a confusion that it was referring to some other person we had already read about.
Jai Baba, it also reflects that one has to follow uh, the real obedience when Baba gives any instruction, and also that we get caught up in this world of illusion, and that's what the sannyasi, even after he was given specific instruction, he did not follow the orders.
Yes. And we also can remember Hafiz saying, so don't question or doubt what the master says and all that. So just
Absolutely.
Yeah,
obey.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Jai Baba.
Yes,
Jai
Uh,
Baba.
that's the specialization of our Baba. He tells you exactly what to do and what not to do. You have to be in the samsara, surrounded by all these attractions, this and that distractions, and yet be submitted in his name. So it's a clear blueprint of how to conduct ourselves, and not to go on Himalayas, leave everyone around, face the difficulties, and yet be in Baba's love. And once it's like explained in this way, you know the roadmap, So every day you can inch a bit towards that, be kind of oblivious to the surroundings and do your task in hand on a particular moment, on a particular day, and then submit it at Baba's feet and move on. Don't get hassled by how people treat you, don't get hassled by environment, failures, successes. Just take it as it comes and not be attached to it. And I think that's something very, very special about our Baba in this avatarhood, where he simplifies it to the last decimal. What is the correct code of conduct to have his being within us, or his being awakened within us? So yeah, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you for that summary and reminder. Yes, in the midst of everything, we can still be very, very spiritual, and that's the gift Baba has given. Continue reading.
Baba,
isn't
we
it?
can say Baba, if the circumstances cannot be changed, change me, show me the way, show me the path, tell me what to do. And once you give all the power, which anyway is his, then you are like that little diya on Ganges, which just floats on a leaf, and wherever the wind blows, you go. So there's no resistance, and that's very fulfilling. Jai Baba.
Nice example of Dia on the river. Thank you. I was always thinking why we do this. You have given some insight into reasonable insight into that. Thank you. I continue reading. Religious conferences make spirituality dry. In the first week of April, a parliament of religions was organized at Rishikesh. Yogi Siddhananda Bharati was invited to be the chairman and to preside over the conference. With Baba's permission, Kishan Singh visited the site of the conference with the intention of distributing leaflets of Meher Baba's messages to the delegates coming from different parts of India. He reached the Rishikesh when the program were already over and the delegates were busy packing to leave. It was a busy time for all, and Kishan Singh could not meet the chief guest, Yogi Bharati, so he asked some people to pass on the leaflets to him. On Kishan Singh's return to Dehradun, he reported to Baba what had occurred, and Baba asked him to revisit Rishikesh the following day with a special message for the chairman Yogi Bharati. When Kishan Singh arrived at his residence the next day, he saw him surrounded by many people asking him questions. Kishan Singh pushed his way through the crowd and said in a loud voice, Yogi ji, I have a message for you from Meher Baba. With the mention of Baba's name, Yogi stopped his conversation with a look of surprise. And where is Meher Baba residing at present? What is his special message? Krishna Singh replied, he is at Dehradun, but Yogi ji do not want to hear his message when alone or in this crowd. At this, Yogi Bharati asked those present to leave. The gist of the message was religious parliaments and conferences make spirituality dry and lower its status. Only the presence of the God man enhances spirituality. Yogi Bharati accepted Baba's words with great respect and in addition expressed his desire to see Baba in person if Kishan Singh would give him a lift to Dehradun. Kishan Singh did not know what to say. After the March Darshan, Baba had given a strict warning to the Mandli that none of them should request Baba to see anyone, even for a few minutes. However, he felt that as a special case, Baba might make an exception and he agreed to take Yogi Bharati to see Baba. As an introduction, I might add here that Yogi Bharati was initiated in Raja Yoga during his early years. In 1915, he had the good fortune to have the blessings of both Sai Baba and Upasli Maharaj. As Sai Baba gave him candy as prasad, he said, sweet, blessed is the heart which is linked with the sweetest God. Sweet is the heart which is blessed with the sweetest, that is God. Also, a very high saint of Hubli in South India had casually remarked to him, you will meet a silent master. Sometime later, while he was weeping, he composed these lines. O beloved of my heart, O beloved of my heart, I wait for you and have no other longing in life. The very next morning, he received a copy of Meher Message, a Baba journal, in the mail. In it was a beautiful photograph of Meher Baba, a figure he had often seen in his meditations. About this incident, he wrote, the beloved is here. I have found him. Mine is to love him, and his is to lead me. In January 1953, when Baba was Tadepalli Gudam, Yogi had his first opportunity to be in the embrace of his silent beloved, Meher Baba. About this brief meeting, he wrote a poem, the first and last two lines of which are, a God I see in human form, a shining God on earth. His presence I can never miss. I am a child of His grace. Baba expressed his love for Yogi by embracing him for a second time and gestured, "You are sincere. My love and guidance are with you." It was
Uh,
some months.
Karthik, in the earlier paragraph, you can underline that a
The
little above,
the poem.
above that. That the beloved is here. I have found him. Mine is to love him and is lead me.
Yeah. Okay. It's poem. Yeah.
Yeah, just an addition. Sudhanand Bharti was basically a chameleon,
Yes, he
and
was. So I
he
was
wrote.
just.
He was also a prolific writer, and he wrote about 250 books. I was reading here
Oh
only.
wow. Hmm.
250 books, out of that 173 are in Tamil and then in English and other languages. French also, I suppose. So he was a
Yeah.
brilliant
So by the way, he's
Raja Baba. Yeah,
composed a song dedicated to Baba
Baba. Yeah, yeah.
in Tamil, which has
Yes, yes.
also been set to classical music in the Carnatic form to Raga
Yeah,
Arabi.
yeah.
So this was something. Yeah, he
Yeah, this
is
is the
here with.
popular picture,
Yes, he's with
Baba
Baba.
and some program.
Yeah.
And Dr. D.S.N. Murthy used to talk to him. I mean, used to talk about him, his meeting with Sultan Bharti. Dr. G.S.N. Murthy, who was younger to him, and I think he was alive till 2005 or something. Yeah.
I think there is an error here because this is Mahakavi Bharadiyar, which is Subramanya Bharati. I think there is a confusion
Sultan
from the.
Bharti.
There's no there is no connection with this photograph with the man in the tilak and the black coat. I don't think
Okay.
that is Subramanya Bharati's family. It's Mahakavi Bharadiyar, Subramanya Bharati. That's the other revolutionary poet. This is Shuddhananda Bharati. This all are
Sultan. Yeah.
these are all Shuddhananda.
Yeah.
This is another
Yeah.
famous
There's a
photograph. I
picture with
think Guru
Baba.
Prasad. Yeah.
Yes.
And he appears in videos as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Jai Baba.
Yeah. Yeah. Baba.
Nice cross reference. Thank you.
Yeah.
Baba expressed his love for Yogi by embracing him for a second time and gestured, "You are sincere. My love and guidance are with you." It was some months after this meeting that Yogi went to Rishikesh to preside over the Parliament of Religions. He had no idea that Baba was staying so nearby at Dehradun, and he jumped at the opportunity to meet him again. J. Helen drove Kishan Singh and Yogi in a car to Dehradun. A mile or two before reaching their destination, the car had a flat tire. Kishan Singh contact, thought to contact one of the mandli by telephone to inform him of his being delayed and perhaps also to give the news that he was bringing Yogi Bharati with him. As the office from which he intended to phone was not on the main road, he had to cross a few bylanes, and this took longer than he expected. He had not informed Helen of this, as Helen was busy changing the tire. Thinking that Kishan Singh had decided to walk all the way back when he was finished, Helen drove straight to 107A Rajpur Road. By the time Kishan Singh returned, Yogi's meeting with Baba was already over. As he left for his residence, Baba gave a message that as soon as Kishan Singh returned, he should be sent to him. Baba's perfect timing includes perfect mistiming as well. This too is part of his game as he adjusts situations to fit his work. Yogi Bharati's arrival was a surprise for the Mandli. Baba, however, gave an audience to Yogi in which he explained, "Conferences cannot unite mankind. The awakening of heart alone can achieve it. I belong to no religion. All religions belong to me. I belong to no religion. All religions belong to me." Words of faith. I am the silent awakener. Yogi told Baba that he had expressed the same views in his presidential speech, and this context he even read some lines to Baba. Baba simply gestured, I know everything. I am the ancient one. Baba then instructed the mandi to give Yogi Bharati some fruit and milk, which was his regular diet. Yogi felt blessed, and the spell of Baba's inner and outer giving overwhelmed him. Inner and outer giving overwhelmed him. A little later, Baba left for his residence, and just then Kishan Singh arrived. He received the message to see Baba immediately and understood what it meant. A failure to obey Baba implicitly with regard to his earlier order concerning visitors. Baba reprimanded him for his loose interpretation of Baba's warning. Kishan Singh with tears in eyes apologized to Baba, and Baba, in his compassion, forgave him. He also told him that he should not repeat such a mistake, as it created disturbances in his spiritual work. Baba instructed Kishan Singh to help ensure that Yogi Bharati left for Rishikesh by 3 p.m. He also told him to make arrangements for his safe and comfortable journey. A little while later, Baba sent word that Yogi should leave half an hour earlier. And again, after 5 minutes, a further message was received that he should now leave by 2:15 p.m., which he did. Baba's ways of changing dates and times for persons connected with him when, were unpredictable, but in each case, they had their own significance. I think somebody can take over. So, Jai Baba.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Thank you so much for reading. Uh,
Can I
any
read?
others? Yes, please. Go ahead.
Thank you. There have been a few instances where one of the
The
Mandali
section is called Disobeying and Obeying Baba. So the previous one ended. Yeah,
disobeying and
please.
obeying Baba. There
Correct.
have
Yes.
been a few instances where one of the Mandali either deserted Baba or was asked to leave. Baba's love for each of them, however, remained the same, unchanged and unconditional. During Baba's stay at Dehradun, he had to completely sever his ou- outer connections with Baba Das, who in the 1940s had traveled extensively spreading Baba's name and message in different parts of North India. Before Irach and Pendu visited the district of Hamirpur in 1952, the spade work for people to receive Baba's message of love had been performed by Baba Das. However, it is sometimes noticed that the good results brought about by Baba's grace and inner help are mistakenly appropriated as the product of one's own efforts. Unfortunately, this happened with poor Babadas, and his ego got the upper hand, which brought about his downfall. In addition to this, without Baba's permission, he raised loans in Baba's names, which Baba totally disapproved of. Being infinitely kind, Baba took upon himself the responsibility of repaying the money to all concerned. In spite of Baba's repeated warnings, Babadas did not mend his ways, and Baba was, in a way, compelled to ask him to leave. On April 9th, a letter to their effect to this effect was handed to him at Dehradun. It said, "Go to Nagpur or anywhere you want to. Go. Don't stay with the Mandali at Dehradun." Accordingly, Babadas left the Mandali's residence on April 10th and did not see Baba again for the rest of his life. For Baba's, Jai Baba, you know, walking with Baba, and it's also a tight rope walk, you know. Sometimes, if you lose that discretion, you know, you could fall into a deep crevice, you know. These are also lessons for us, you know, not to get so swollen in his love that, you know, we are someone great, that he just says, okay, now you are on your own. So we have to be humble, nimble, and always full of gratitude, knowing that everything originates from him. Sorry, this was a detour. Jai Baba. For Baba lovers in India, a special circular was mailed which stated, of late Baba Das's talk and actions have been getting increasingly stupid and irresponsible. For the matter of that, Baba draws attention of everyone that whatever dealings one does with Baba Das will be at the sole responsibility of the one who does it. The matter was, however, summarized by the following two sentences. Baba has forgiven Baba Das many a time for his mistakes and weaknesses. For now, he forgives him because Baba loves him as he loves everyone. In addition to Baba's two general injections given in 1960, no sex outside of marriage and no use of psychedelic and other harmful non prescription drugs. One of the things that he disapproved of most was misappropriation of money in his name. And the above episode connected with Babadas is a glaring example of the result it brings. In contrast to
One
Babadas's
second. The message about Baba Das came from Life Circular number 11. That was the footnote 23. Sorry for.
Jai Baba, one second. So basically, here Baba is, uh, distinguishing between the world of duality and reality, and one should not use, you know, the world of reality or Baba's name to for any of the materialistic goals. It's very clear. This is a learning from this story.
Jai Baba, yes.
Jai Baba.
In contrast to Babadas's disobedience
In
and his
addition to this, can I have a word
yes,
here?
sure.
Baba's insistence on obeying his order, we can look at in a very different context also. Say, if we accept Baba as God and we are also God, in us God is there, then we have to equate the two together. So in this respect, obeying Baba is oneness, not
Yes.
a
It's
slave
not an
attitude
instruction.
to a master. So if you take like that, over a period, we learn and become more godly and becoming a real servant, as we call ourselves to the master. So this is the reason why Baba says, follow me and also obey me without any questions being asked. So the context, because our ego always tricks us. Why should I obey? Am I doing something wrong if I do a slightly different way than Baba says me or tells me? So this clash of our ego keep on melting away if we start doing this. So that oneness will creep in gradually over a period. That's how I look at this command from Baba. Hey, Baba.
Yes. The
Jai
whole journey is from duality to, unitedness.
Yes.
And yeah, everything inches towards awakening him in us and then dissolving us if there is anything left. Yeah, yes, Mamaji, I agree.
I'll just add, uh, we read the seven realities. So, real obedience and the real surrender. So, actually, we have to surrender to absolute surrender to Baba, and really, real obedience means follow every word and every instruction to the T. So, we should, whatever Baba has left, in his last warning or whatever messages, we should follow that and try to follow that and imbibe in our lives. Jai Baba.
Yeah, Babu. In
I think
contrast,
just to comment, sorry if I'm dragging this, but that's a very interesting comment made by Mamaji. The logical or the linkage to a union in surrender, right? I would add that that's another tool that we can use along with the provisional working ego. It's basically provisional working ego, right? So you are basically surrendering and dissolving your ego in recognition of the fact of union and operating as per his diktat and operating at your level, right? So it's provisional working ego, but very nice observation.
in contrast to Baba Das's disobedience and its dire consequences, I intend to narrate now an instance in which obedience to Baba's orders brought in its wake wonderful results. It is connected with another of Baba's mandali, Kaikobar Dastur. Before coming to stay with Baba, Kaikobad was working as a head cashier in the insurance company. He developed cataracts in both eyes and had to retire from his position 2 years prior to the normal time of retirement. And yet it was this which gave him the opportunity to begin counting repetitions of Baba's name instead of money. After this time, Baba not only conveyed to him that he would soon be called to stay with him, but as a prerequisite, he also told Kaikobad to sell all except for a minimum amount of clothing. Kaikobad cheerfully carried out Baba's orders and waited the call to come, which did not arrive for several months. Only when he reached the point of total desperation did Baba send him a message to come to Mehrabad for a permanent stay with him. Thus, in 1944, Kaikobad became one of Baba's close resident mandali. In February 1953, when Baba went to Dehradun for a long stay, Kaikobad was among the mandalis Mandali accompanying him. Baba gave Kaikobad the special duty of offering prayers at certain specific times, so he was given a separate room. Knowing that Kaikobad's eyesight was very weak, Kishan Singh fixed a high powered electric light in his room so that he could be able to read when he wished to. It was here in Dehradun that Baba asked him to repeat his name 100,000 times a day. Kaikobad spent most of his time in Kaikobad said that during the past few days, a
No,
dazzling
sorry. Yeah, the previous paragraph. I moved it. Yeah.
Yeah, Kaikobad spent most of his time in his room. Baba would visit him in the morning before coming to the room where he sat with the mandali. One morning, when Baba visited Kaikobad, he told Baba of three incredible experiences that he had had. Later the same day, Baba called Kaikobad into the sitting room and instructed him to share with the mandali what he had previously related to him. Kaikobad said that during the past few days a dazzling light had begun emanating from his eyes, so much so that he could now read the newspaper without having to use the electric light. The second thing was that sometimes, even when he closed his eyes, the light persisted. It was as though the light was abiding on his body, and in that light he saw Baba's beautiful face. Thirdly, on certain occasions, while this resplendent effulgence, he saw a hand coming towards him, and the moment he felt that the hand actually touching his head to bless him, it disappeared. At the end of Kaikobad's narration, Baba explained that all the experiences related were in the domain of illusion. Such experiences continue to occur for a while and then they automatically stop. Baba told Kaikbad that he should not in any way regard himself as more advanced spiritually than others of the Mandali just because of these incredible experiences. Nor should he feel disappointed or demoted when when they no longer occurred. In the end, Baba concluded, I am least concerned with such experiences, and from the point of view of ultimate reality, there is not an iota of truth in them. As years passed by, with Baba's grace, Kaikobad had a variety of experiences and visions, but because of Baba's profound and crystal clear explanation given above, he did not attach extra importance to them. He viewed them as Baba's gifts, and as such, these experiences helped him to love Baba more and more and to continually repeat Baba's divine name from the depth of his heart. Disobeying Baba implies loving him for oneself, for one's own pleasure. Obeying him means loving Baba for himself, for his pleasure. To love the God man, the avatar, not for what he gives, but for what he is. Love, unconditional, is all that really matters.
I think you can reread that paragraph that
Jai,
given
Yeah.
yeah, read,
you.
read it. Yeah, I just
Please.
give comments.
Obeying Baba implies loving him for oneself, for one's own pleasure. Obeying him means loving Baba for himself and his pleasure. To love the God man, the avatar, not for what he gives, but for what he is. Love, unconditional, is all that really matters. Jai Baba.
Beautiful.
Jai
Beautiful.
Baba.
Yes. Yes, Sanjay.
Yeah, yeah. I was reading Poka's diaries where he's talking of these sessions Baba used to have with Kaikobad in September 1958. In that period, 2 3 months period, that was a period of seclusion where selected Baba Mandli men will be there in Merazar, and no one from outside was allowed to enter. Neither anybody from here was allowed to get out. I mean, except for the things, but they were not supposed to speak on what is happening inside, or they were not supposed to inquire what was happening outside. So that was this kind of an intense period. And in this period, Baba was not really keeping well after his accident, second accident at Satara. And Baba would be brought to the Mandli Hall into that lift chair. And he writes that Baba would come and Baba would be having running fever, 199, and I mean, different numbers are given. And he would get into Kaikoba's room. I'm not sure which is the room in Merazat which is called Kaikoba's room. I suppose it should be around on the alley outside the Mandli Hall. And Baba would spend time in seclusion with Kaikobad uh, on a regular basis. And he come back. Then from lift chair, Baba would get up using his crutches and get into his room. So this is something special that I, I that struck my mind. Uh, and Baba was not keeping well. Actually, he was in a very bad shape, and Baba was. There are lines which are very hurting. If you imagine what Baba was suffering during those days. And he had asked his Mandli men to repeat that, may God help Baba to, you know, accomplish the mission that he has taken. Yeah. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Yeah.
Baba quite stay at
Just
Mussoorie.
before you, yeah, just before you continue, don't miss all the comments and discussion that's happening on the text in parallel. Please read
Okay.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Jayapal.
will. Okay. Uh,
No,
okay.
each one can read it. Each one can read it
Yeah,
personally.
read it for the sake of humanity. This is by who's written this? Amakote Krishnamurti. Is it?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Excellency, I'm reading what you're writing. Baba noted that while Kaikabad's experiences were profound, they were glimpses and not full God realization, which he was still working towards. That's yeah. This occurred to my head also. These glimpses include seeing a room lit with brilliance far beyond the sun's, loving Baba for himself, oils our innermost loving self, not the small self, the false I, ego personality self, but the bigger self. And that bigger self is only Baba. Jai Baba, thank you for sharing. Mr. Kamakoti Krishnamurti, Excellency, thank you. Okay, Baba's quiet stay at Mussoorie. In the first week of April, Baba asked Adi in Ahmednagar to mail a printed leaflet to the Baba families in India. The gist of this leaflet was that Baba wanted his lovers to audibly and wholeheartedly repeat the name of the god according to their respective religions. The given by Baba for this continuous repetition was for 1 hour from 4 to 5 o'clock in the morning of July 10th, 1953. The, July 10th is Silence Day, right?
Correct, correct. That's what. So the morning he has asked.
I see.
Yeah.
The divine names recited by the Baba people according to the beloved master's instructions were Hindus, Parabrahma Paramatma, Muslims, Allahu Akbar, Christians, God Almighty, Zoroastrians, Ahur Mazda, Parsis, Zoroastrians, Yazdan, Iranians. Oh, I see. I was always wondering what is the
Yeah,
difference
me too.
between
Yeah.
Ahur Mazda and Yazdan. Okay, now we know. Here,
So those that are come to India, I think, say Ahur Mast and Estan as okay. Yeah, please continue.
okay, I this sudden urge of all of us saying this Hari Par Matma Allah Ahur Mas God
God, yes,
Hari Par Matma Allah Ahur Mas God Yazdahu Ahurmas. God Yazdahu. Jai Baba. Here I may mention that
Jai Jai Baba. This was sung by Mehra, seven names of God.
Jai Baba, yes. Here I may mention that Baba would, for short periods, occasionally give opportunities to his lovers to participate in his inner spiritual work through certain instructions, such as to keep awake at night, to fast, to observe silence, to repeat the divine names. I presume that Meher Baba, even after having dropped his body, the cloak that infinite consciousness had put on, has left for us an unwritten instructions to observe silence each year on July 10th for the whole day and also on January 31st for 15 minutes for 12 from 12 midday to 12:15 p.m. You know, both these days, many of us on this group have experienced with Baba's grace, and we have really experienced bliss and his presence over these years, and very, very thankful for that privilege granted to all of us by beloved Baba. These two occasions can be regarded as special periods for the dispensation of Avatar's grace, the purpose for which he assumed the man form. The first date mentioned above is the anniversary of the day on which Meher Baba began observing silence. The second date is when the word in is when the word becomes flesh, dropped his physical form to resume his infinite formlessness, residing all the more in the hearts of his lovers as the eternal beloved. On April 10th, Baba left Dehradun for a short stay of 7 weeks at Mussoorie, the queen of hill stations in India, located 22 miles from Dehradun. It is situated at an altitude of 7,000 feet. On one side, it commands a majestic view of the Himalayas, and the other, a vast panorama of Doon Valley, spreading out into the plains of India. Just a while ago, the choice of places where Baba spent a lot of time was, they were all very scenic. Even those in America, um, which we have visited, also are so beautiful and scenic. Baba enjoyed the nature he created. Oh, yeah. Jai Baba. Baba stayed in Happy Valley, about 3 miles from the main bazaar, in a house owned by Raja of Tehri Garhwal. The men Mandali were accommodated in nearby quarters. The weather throughout April and May was pleasant, cool, and refreshing. Baba spent his time apparently relaxing, but was mainly working in seclusion towards the culmination of his fairy life and the beginning of life, as explained by him at the close of his new life phase. In fact, from the beginning of Baba's stay at Missouri, his spiritual work seemed to intensify profoundly. The change of rhythm.
The
Okay.
mention in the footnote is of Life Circular number 1, published on February 6, 1952. Uh, yeah.
The change of rhythm in Baba's inner spiritual work was often marked by offering his services to the poor and or contacting the mosques. This time, however, the variation in work was represented through the service of a teenage boy. In fact, before his arrival at Dehradun, Baba had instructed Kishan Singh and others to find an ideal boy as from February 14. He wanted to wash the feet of the youth and to offer him several rupees as prasad every day for 2 weeks. As it turned out, Baba's men at Dehradun were not successful in finding a boy fulfilling the qualification enumerated by Baba. I think we've read this somewhere. On the darshan day, however, a visitor coming to offer his respects to Baba was accompanied by his son, a teenager. Baba liked the young man, and he was later invited to stay with him at Missouri from May 2nd onwards. Accordingly, Kishan Singh made the arrangements to bring the boy to Missouri for Baba's contact. In connection with his special work, Baba kept this boy with him for about 2 weeks and then sent him home. It has been noticed that Baba was more concerned with his inner invisible work than with the outer visible things and or people connected with it. During each specific period of his work, he would focus his entire attention on all those involved or connected with the work, so much so that other concerns did not exist for him. Perhaps due to the very impersonal nature of his work, in which the individuals concerned were chosen primarily because of the roles they were to play, neither the boy nor his parents again visited Baba, nor did he send for him. Baba's method represented a perfect blending of attachment and detachment. At the beginning of his stay at Missouri, Baba allotted some of his time to attend to daily correspondence. But he soon felt he should be wholly undisturbed for his work. So, in the first week of May, he instructed Adi to issue yet another circular to his followers in India, informing them not to correspond with Baba for any reason whatsoever from May 15th through the end of September 1953. Although, with the communications, the following short message was also given. When we love God in His own infinite self and in all other selves except our own self, in the end, we find that all the time we have been loving our own self. Jai Baba.
Beautiful
Some
message. Yeah.
You
also
can
go.
repeat that.
You can
Repeat.
repeat that, but
Yes.
that comes from Circular number 12, May 10th, 1953.
When we love God in His own infinite self
Wicked
and
self.
in all other selves except our own self, in the end, we find that all the time we have been loving our own self. By the end of May 1953, Baba, with his group of men and women disciples, returned to Dehradun for the glorious work ahead of him.
Okay, so we move to the next chapter. Uh, do we want to rotate the reading? Any others who want to read?
Yeah, I'll read. And I just wanted to say that the earlier paragraph reminds us of oils, our innermost loving self.
Yes. And the lover and the beloved, right? So when we love God in his own infinite biggest self and in all other selves except our own self, in the end we find that all the time we have been loving our own self. So beautiful.
It is also
The
to
the profundity of Baba messages are in its simplicity. Right? So
yeah,
it's amazing.
you know that
Can you check
also
the comments?
leads to
Yeah. So I saw that AI cranking up some stuff about Kaikobad and the link of Kaikobad as well. Let me bring that up.
We are not that conversant to take both together. So we'll have to wait and read later.
Yeah, I know. That's part of the problem. But the links are there, so you can see it
Yes,
later.
yes, Adam.
Yeah.
what is
This is Kaikobad.
oh
Oh no,
this
this
is
is Baba
so,
Das, sorry.
so
This is
yeah
Baba
it's
Das, the guy who fell out. The
oh
guy who was, yeah, Baba Das, sorry.
Before that, I wrote something about Kaiko battle, so you can check it.
Yeah. Yes. So then there's also something on Kaikobad.
Better to say that he was removed by Baba.
Yeah,
He
correct.
not on his own, he was pushed out.
Yes. Yeah. Specifically asked to leave, and then people were advised to advised on those lines. Yeah. So there's some more snippets about Kaikobad, which Kama has shared. Kaikobad Dastur was a close devotee and mandali of Meher Baba who became known for repeating Baba's name 100,000 times a day and for having a glimpse of Meher Baba's divinity. In 1956, Kaikobad voluntarily took on the third and final automobile accident that Meher Baba had predicted, resulting in a fractured hip for himself. He is remembered as an example of love and devotion to Baba, and his life demonstrates the depth of experience possible on the spiritual path. I don't know why that sacrifice for Baba in 1956. Meher Baba told Kaikobad that he was due to have a third and final car accident. Kaikobad willingly offered to take the accident in Baba's place. Wow. Shortly after, he fell and fractured his hip, which crippled him but was seen as an act of immense love and sacrifice. Family's devotion. His family also demonstrated extraordinary love and faith when the daughter Meheru died in a burn accident in 1965. His wife, Jairbai, was not saddened, stating that Meheru had gone to Baba and was freed from the cycle of rebirth. This was presented by Baba as an example of how his close lovers lived. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing.
This is also again about loss. First is love, more than love is obedience, then surrender, then sacrifice. So I think Kaiko Bird is a great example. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Jai Baba. Hey, Ashok ji.
Yeah. A must store of 5
Jai Baba.
Ds.
Thank you, Namita ji, and now over to you.
Yeah.
Jai Baba, thank you.
Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai, a must tour of 5 days, 1953, Part 5. A van with immense spiritual import. During Meher Baba's stay at Basuri in the first week of May, he called Elsha Mistry, Kumar, Kishan Singh, and Jagannath Helan from Dehradun for a special meeting along with his resident Mandli. During this meeting, he entrusted Elsha with the task of hiring a sizable van for a period of 2 weeks beginning June 5th. He also disclosed he also disclosed to those present that for the purpose of bringing about some momentous results in his ensuing spiritual work, he was planning to travel day and night with some of his people who would have no rest, no sleep for 15 days. No outsiders were to be accommodated in the van, and as such, it would have to be driven by one of Baba's own people. Elshad Mistry assured Baba that he would easily be able to procure such a van from one of his acquaintances. This pleased Baba, and he added that Elsha should not treat this matter lightly and that he would not mind paying an abnormally high rent to the owner if necessary, as traveling together with the whole group in one vehicle was of paramount importance. With a month's time in hand, Elsha should definitely fix one good van, Baba remarked. The rest of the invitees from Dehradun had also agreed to help Elsha in this work. As often as every other day, Pava would ask someone to telephone his people in Dehradun about their progress in hiring the vehicle. Pava instructed them not to spare any honest effort, not to leave any stone unturned in obtaining the van. It was not an easy job to persuade an owner to part with his vehicle without his own man to drive it. Yet Elsha at last succeeded. On hearing this piece of good news, Paul was very pleased, and he said he would do as he had said he would do earlier. He distributed sweets to the monthly to celebrate the communication, affirming the group tour of 15 days. Prior to his non-stop wandering, Baba sent Baidul in advance to search out 56 advanced souls, some monks, some saints. For Baba, they were to represent the 56 God-realized souls who exist on earth at all times. In connection with Baba's work with the poor, he sometimes allowed certain people, his ardent disciples or devotees, to contribute whatever they could conveniently and happily spare for such a cause. This time, Baba families in Bombay were given the opportunity to contribute a significant sum to helping the poor of at Dehradun. For Baba, the poor chosen each time represented a different category for his work. On this occasion, he asked Kumar to find widows who were daughters of marriageable age, who were unable to have them married owing to financial difficulties. In India, most marriages are arranged marriages at which a bride parents are required to offer a large amount of money to groom as dowry. Kumar carried out a serious search and succeeded in finding the kind of woman Baba wanted. On May 31st, Baba returned to Dehradun from Missouri and Kumar told him about his success. Baba fixed the date of June 3rd for the gathering of the widows and their arrival. After going down to them, he presented each one with a new sewing machine. He also gave them some money to purchase cloth and other necessities. This was one of Baba's way of helping them to learn and earn simultaneously. With the passage of time, those gifts of love must have helped the widows to financially arrange good matches for their daughters. After one such program, Pava conveyed and helped the type of poor selected by him. His help reached everyone in a similar predicament. On this particular day, Pava also washed and on this particular day, Baba also washed and dried the feet of 24 men and gave them 300 rupees to each person. This served as a prelude to Baba's tour of 2 weeks. Baidul, who had said by Baba to gather information about monks and saints, now returned to Dehradun after a very strenuous journey. He had traveled within a radius of 150 miles and had prepared a list of advanced souls with their special and peculiar characteristics and the names of the villages and towns where they resided at the time. After listening to this after listening to this inventory, Baba selected 56 masts and saintly souls. He also decided to visit most of these places to contact these God possessed and God loving souls during his wandering tour, when the monthly estimate, which the monthly and estimated would cover a distance of about 2,000 miles in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Just let that sink in. 2,000 miles in the hills in 2 weeks, all packed in one van. Um, so, should we assume that these 56 souls are all God realized, or should we not? Because of the number 56, I'm asking the question. But let's read on and find out.
It looks like they have
I
got
think
and
the new insight when we read all this few paragraphs now regarding Musk and the number 56, Baba is trying to put the souls which are on the path held up in different planes to go further and progress. So that's how I look at it. So ultimately, these will progress and then make a part of that 56. So some of them in different planes will move further and then reach the goal. I think that was one major role that Baba played throughout his uh, tenure on the earth to say push, give a push to the spiritual journey in some selected souls who are held up in different planes. I think. Sai Baba.
Very true. So actually, I also underlined, maybe I should have commented about it, a line which properly explains the nature of his universal work. So whatever he was doing with the poor, the invalid, the lepers, and all of that, is actually representative for the whole of that segment, the whole of that demographic, right? So that's what Baba has specifically conveyed. So after one such program, Baba conveyed that in helping the type of poor selected by him, his help reached everyone in a similar predicament. So extending that logic to on the lines of what Mamaji said now, it could be the spiritual push going across those categories of musts and advanced souls, giving everybody a simultaneous push as part of his avataric work. But let's read on. I'm very curious about this 2 week trip. Ashokji, I think you've switched on the camera. If it is inadvertent, you can switch it off.
okay. Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's okay. Please continue. You can leave it on. I'm just telling you if it was inadvertent, you can.
Okay. Uh, I'd rather leave it off because I'm in the hospital. But anyway,
I realized because I heard another voice in the room, which was so I realized you're in hospital. Take care, but much appreciate your interest and initiative to read as well.
Nini, it's Baba's work. Uh, Baba often inquired about the availability of the van and stressed the importance of this no rest, no sleep journey and the magnitude of spiritual work which would be done if this tour of 2 weeks was completed to his satisfaction. He also added that if, for any reason whatsoever, this tour were to be cancelled or modified, most of his plans would be adversely affected and upset. Some of his people wondered why Baba should make his spiritual work dependent on such an apparently insignificant thing as a van. Some reassured Baba that the conveyance hired by Elcha was one of the best vehicles in Uttar Pradesh and that the owner had willingly agreed to part with it on a rental basis for 2 weeks. Baba instructed that the van should be at the Mandali's residence on the evening of June 4th to begin the journey in early hours of June 5th. Thus, everything seemed to be going smoothly. But soon difficulties began to crop up. Elcha Mistri, who was to accompany Baba, had to attend an important meeting on June 5th in connection with his work, and Baba reluctantly agreed to start a day later. But what's the news about the van? Baba gestured. Elcha, in contrast to his usual jovial way, reported despondently that the hired van, which was supposed to have returned from Punjab a week earlier, had still not come back. He had sent telegram to the owner but had received no reply. It was clear now that the van would not be made available for Baba. Baba realized that it had been a mistake to rely completely on the van owner's words, but now it was too late to try any other van owner. He was very dejected because the whole affair displeased Baba. The Mandali also became very unhappy and concerned, for they had heard Baba often warn that grave spiritual consequences would result if no van was procured. On this day, Baba also conveyed to them that the delay of a day in his tour had resulted in an additional setback to the work originally planned by him. In the hands of the avatar, a simple thing or casual incident can hold enormous gravity for his work. Later, Baba gave an explanation included at the end of this chapter to the Mandali about how such apparently small incidents have changed the course of events, the internal and external activities of the past avatars. Baba begins his tour in two cars. Thus began a search to hire another van. Traveling together in one vehicle was of such paramount importance to Baba that that in Masuri he had even suggested that his people in Dehradun purchase a new van and then sell it when the tour was over. But it was too late now even to buy one. After all efforts had failed visibly, the matter was reported to Baba with great distress. He then called his Dehradun group together and expressed his displeasure. On such occasion, Baba looked so fiery that none would dare to offer any excuse or explanation as to why his instruction had not been properly carried out. Baba reprimanded them and told them that they had no idea of the setback that had been caused to his spiritual work. He added that under the present circumstances, to undertake a wandering tour of 15 days was impractical, even unthinkable. Traveling by train or journeying in two cars don't bring the desired results. He concluded a summary of the points Baba discussed and decided in his meeting with the Mandali and some devotees in Dehradun is given below. 1. Baba's plan of work during 1953 will have to be radically changed. 2. July 12th, the tentative date for public darshan in Dehradun is cancelled. 3. Baba's work to Kashmir, which was earlier postponed, is also cancelled. 4. Baba's future plans of 1953 will be decided by him on July 10th, 1953. 5th, instead of the original 15 days tour of no rest, no sleep, covering 2,000 miles, Baba will now leave Dehradun on June 6th for one of his shortest must tours of 5 days. It was to be a journey of about 500 miles in two cars. Baba, however, made it clear that this tour would in no way compensate for the loss caused by the failure of the earlier plan. On June 5th, Baba began the tour in two cars. Kishan Singh's, driven by Jagannath Hillen, and a jeep borrowed by Elijah Mistry and driven by him. The others who accompanied Baba were Ersh, Baidul, Kumar, Kishan Singh, and Dr. Shiri Deshmukh, who happened to be in Dehradun during his college vacation. Deshmukh also filmed a part of this tour concerning mainly on concentrating mainly on Baba in the presence of in the process of contacting Mast. At about 6 o'clock in the evening on June 6th, Baba and his people left Dehradun for Rishikesh, where the first contact was Nikhandawala.
It's
High,
Neelkantwala. I think there's a typo. It's Neelkantwala.
yeah, Nilkantwala. Okay. I also thought there's something. Nilkantwala High Mast. Baba, with a big tray containing flowers, fruits, and sweets, approached and bowed down to the mast. He did not, however, touch his feet. The mast was lying majestically on his bed on the second story of Bhajan Ashram. He seemed to be one of the Baba's favorite musts. During this tour, he was the first and also the last one to be contacted by Baba. The cars proceeded toward Turkey, but on the way, Baba stopped at Kalyar Sharif, a place of pilgrimage for hundreds of people who pay their respects at the Dargah of Sabir, Mandub Ali Ashmat Sabir. Sabir, in and out of calm and health. Sabir's life presents an incredible illustration of the powers of the plains. While Sabir was staying at Kalyar, he once had a whim to visit a local mosque for the morning prayers. As it was considerably earlier than the time of prayers, he found the mosque totally vacant. He took his seat behind that of the Pesh Imam or to lead the prayers in the first row. After a while, people began coming into the mosque. Each person, upon finding Sabir, a man of dirty appearance and tattered clothes, sitting up front, asked him to move back one row, until by the time the prayers was to start, Sabir had been thrown out of the mosque and had to sit on the step of the outer door. He was greatly annoyed at this, especially since inside a mosque, all are supposed to be treated equally, irrespective of their social status. At the appointed time, The namaz began. When the congregation had bowed down in supplication to Allah, Baba Sabir cried aloud, "O mosque, how can you bear such an insolence on this part of the people and stand erect? Why don't you come down?" And it is said that the huge structure immediately toppled down and the congregation was buried alive. It was also noticed that the flourishing city of Kalyar from, day, from that day on began to decline and eventually fell into ruins. Perhaps this is an example of God's wrath made manifest the utterance of one of his children, powerful Jalali Mast. Sometime later, Sabir, who was consciously traversing the spiritual path, was unfortunately caught up in Kam Herath, the footnote 26.
God
That's what
speaks,
Baba.
supplement number 6, page 21.
God speaks. This one sick.
There is it. Yeah, yeah.
I just lost the.
Yeah, here. Mukame Hairab.
Yeah, correct, correct. A station between the third and fourth plane of consciousness. If an aspirant happens to get involved or absorbed at this station, he finds himself lost in an enchantment and his spiritual progress is definitely delayed. The this particular health enchantment has another unique quality. One's physical posture, whatever it may be at that moment, one is overpowered, remains unchanged. In Savi's case, he was holding an overhanging twig of a fig tree at the moment of entering this deep absorption, and so he remained standing in that position, in that posture for days and weeks without food and water, days to the world. Only natural death, divine intervention, or help from a perfect master can pull one out, pull me out of his profound infatuation. Eventually, the news of Sabir's Herath reached the ears of Baba Farid, Sabir's master. Can somebody take over from here? Sorry.
Yeah, I can take over. I'll reread that line. Thank you for reading. And I continue. Eventually, the news of Sabir's Hayrat reached the ears of Baba Fariduddin, Sabir's master. He summoned his disciples to him and said to them, "If any of you can help Sabir come down from his Hayrat, he will be richly rewarded by me." All kept quiet. At last, Samshuddin, Turk of Panipat, as wished by his master, offered his services. He was a handsome person, a singer with a melodious voice. The master blessed Samshuddin, and the only instruction he gave him was, for any reason whatsoever, do not stand in front of Sabir, so that his direct gaze may not at any time fall on you. Shamsuddin arrived at Kalyar and saw Sabir with blank and unwinking eyes, staring at the skies, utterly lost to his surroundings. Mer Baba Journal, you must believe it, January 1942. The story must have appeared in the whole story. So it's pages 164 to 169. He took his stand. He took his stand to Sabir's left and began singing in his sweet, warbling voice some mystical songs of love and praise of God. Through the inner help of Baba Fariduddin, the simple natural device worked well. Sabir began to show signs of animation, regained his gross senses, and was finally pulled out of the profound enchantment. When he became fully aware of his surroundings, he recognized Shamsuddin standing on his left and said in a feeble voice, "Why are you standing? Why don't you sit?" Shamsuddin, his heart filled with joy at the fulfillment of the duty given by his master, said, "It does not behoove me to sit when a venerable person of your stature is standing." Thereupon, Sabir asked Shamsuddin to help him be seated on the ground. As his limbs had become extremely stiff, it was not possible for him to assume a sitting position. So Shamsuddin helped him to lie flat on the ground. He soon closed his eyes, which had been open for many, many weeks, and in no time he was fast asleep. On waking, Sabir felt totally relaxed and he bade Shamsuddin return to Baba Fariduddin. We will stop at this point, but we'll just quickly go to Thought Speaks for page 21. Oops, wrong one.
And also the last 4-page diagram shows this page on a plane.
Yes, yes, it's there on Lud's diagram, chart 12. Akame Hiram. Everyone, sorry. Did it say 21 or maybe I put the wrong page number? Yeah, so supplement number 6, page 21.
Supplement.
So I was not wrong.
Page between third and fourth plane, 203.
203.
It's page 71, I think.
Yeah, here it is. The stage between the third and the fourth planes, 44. The journey between the third and fourth planes is at once difficult and dangerous because between these two planes, there is the point of enchantment, Mukam e Hayrat. It is very difficult to pass out of the state of enchantment if the pilgrim once stops there, although most pilgrims pass directly from the third to the fourth plane. Unless the pilgrim gets out of the state quickly and proceeds towards the fourth plane, his progress will be held up indefinitely. Once a pilgrim becomes thus enchanted, he remains so for days, months, or years together. He can neither make further progress nor can he retrogress. He is neither gross conscious nor subtle conscious. Neither can he be called unconscious because he is fully conscious of the enchantment. And it is because of his consciousness of enchantment that he lives this living death. The physical condition of the deeply enchanted pilgrim is no less strange. For if he seats himself in a particular position, he remains in that position for months or years together. Similarly, if he becomes enchanted while standing, he will continue standing until the enchantment ends. In short, he remains stationary in the position in which he first becomes enchanted, and although he may appear to be a lifeless statue, he is in fact more alive than the ordinary man of the world. It is, and this is the same Sabir, it is well known to the Sufi world how Ali Ahmed Sabir of Piran Kalyar, who afterwards became a perfect master, once remained standing for years near a certain tree. During this period, Sabir's mind was absorbed in the enchantment of this Mukam e Hayrat, and he was delivered from it by the Qutub. Oh, through the Kutub Baba Faruddin, but then it was the singing of what's his name, the other disciple, Samsuddin. Thank you. Only natural death or divine help from a living master can help such a dazed pilgrim out of his spiritual stalemate. A master would help such pilgrim either by bringing him back to the third plane or by pushing him upwards. Hafiz, no doubt, thinks of this stage of the pilgrim when he says, Mastam kun an kunan ki nadanam ji bhi kudi dar arsi Kial ki amad kudam raft. Make me so dazed and intoxicated that on account of the state of forgetfulness, I should be oblivious of what came into my mind and what passed out of it. Meher Baba explains that a pilgrim runs the risk of entering Mukame Hayrat, state of enchantment, when he passes from the third to the fourth plane. There are, he says, states of enchantment on other parts of the path also, but the most important is that between the third and the fourth planes. This Hayrat, enchantment, may be strong or feeble. If there is no hitch or disturbing factor present at the moment that a pilgrim becomes enchanted, then the Hayrat is deep or strong. If there is a disturbing factor present at the moment when then the Hayrat is feeble. If a pilgrim experiences either strong or feeble Hayrat between the third and fourth planes and is then pushed forward by accident to a higher plane, he invariably goes to a position between the fifth and sixth planes, again with the same strong or feeble Hayrat. However, such instances are very rare. Ali Ahmed Sabir of Kalyar and Baba Abdul Rahman of Bombay both were precipitated from a very strong Hayrat between the third and fourth planes into a very strong Hayrat between the fifth and sixth planes, the former by a gift of grace from a Kutub, and the latter through God's gift in the shape of an accident. Complete fixity of posture that lasts until death or until a perfect master is contacted is seen only in those pilgrims who have a very strong hierarchy. A must God intoxicated, who has been with Meher Baba for many years, was in this Mukame Hayrat between the third and fourth planes when he was brought to Meher Baba in Rahuri in 1936. But his Hayrat was feeble, and although he would stand for many hours at a stretch in one position, this position would not be maintained permanently. The enchantment of Ali Ahmed Sabir, however, was a strong one, and he remained in one posture until he was finally delivered from the enchantment by a Qutb. This state of enchantment should on no account be confused with the catatonic stupor of a schizophrenic, although it may appear similar. Both are states of enchantment, but they are poles apart. So very, very interesting cross-reference there. We get some live reading about a story. So Mamaji was saying there is a mention of pirate A. Is it here, Mamaji? You check?
Somewhere, I didn't check that.
I don't think it's there. Not no. So I don't think it's there. Okay. I think on that note,
I don't know, sir.
What is say you have learned by rote.
Kama, you're not audible, but you have said something else. You've been spiritual state.
No, I said must the movement's spiritual state.
You want to innovate everything naturally. Okay, it's not what Muhammad he will not fed you.
Muhammad felt up. Okay, I'll just read out what he said. He was in a state of enchantment between third and fourth spiritual planes, and Baba explained that his condition was not madness, but in an advanced spiritual awareness, connection to Baba. Muhammad felt a profound love for Baba, and their first meeting was filled with mutual recognition and happiness. He remained at Meher Baba's encampment for 34 years after Baba dropped his body and was considered a saint of the fifth grade. Okay, this is about Muhammad, who also experienced this hayrat. By the way, the word hayrat, I think, is also used in Sufi songs. I'm not able to recollect the song, but I surely remember one of the Sufi songs having the word hayrat. Somebody may remember it. Okay, we are way out of time, but I think it was really a special reading. Thank you so much for participating and commenting and discussing and pushing all of us together. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank
Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Thank you,
Jai Baba.
Ajit.